Today we continue with the Flying Serpent, or Strange News out of Essex. About 2 days after the same serpent was seen by another, who gave the same description of it with the two former, as is above written. Since which time it hath been seen by divers, who have fruitlessly attempted to kill it. For now, upon the sight of a man, it presently betakes itself to the wood, where he remains safe, none daring to come nigh it with clubs, and for their guns in that place where he can hide himself in bushes and vents, they are altogether useless. Yet has there been, and is still continued to this day, great watching by several persons with muskets and fowling pieces, and such like to shoot it, but as yet it hath been no man's good fortune to light on him. The report of this serpent is so terrible to the inhabitants thereabout, that no women, children, nay, nor a great many men durst not go near the place where he lurks. Yet we hear not of any mischief that he hath yet done, though it be a wonder to most people on what he subsists, and that hunger does not compel him to range further abroad, seeing he wants not for courage, as may be evidenced in his so facing of the two men aforesaid. We read in ancient histories of a serpent in Tripoli, a country in Asia, that was 125 paces in length. He had a mouth so wide that he could swallow a man on horseback, and each of his scales were as big as a large shield. They also tell us of Hydra, a monstrous serpent on the lake of Lerna, who having one head cut off, immediately had 2 other heads grow up in the same place. This serpent was at last slain by Hercules. Pliny tells us of the rhinoceros, a small serpent which winds himself about the leg of an elephant, who with his trunk, seeking to rid him, when forthwith the serpent creeps into the trunk, and so kills the elephant. But long he enjoys not the conquest, for the elephant kills the rhinoceros with his fall. He also tells us of the scorpion, a venomous serpent with 7 feet. His sting is in his tail. Sometimes they eat their young ones, and are of diverse colours. The female is the biggest, and hath the sharpest sting. The Arcadian scorpion will not hurt their countrymen, nor the Syrian snakes, nor the Tyrinthian serpent. We also read of a serpent called Amphispora, who had a head at both ends, as also of a serpent called Boas, of that bigness, that being found dead, there was a whole child in his belly. The asp is a very venomous serpent. They always go 2 and 2 together, and if one of them be slain, the other will pursue him eagerly that slew him. And if a man chance to be bitten by this serpent, it is present death, if he cut not off the member to be bitten. Cleopatra, queen of Egypt, being taken by Caesar, applying these serpents to her body, wilfully slew herself. Nor can we here forget the viper, a most venomous serpent. The male hath but 1 tooth of each side, the female more. But of all serpents, the basilisk, or cockatrice, is the most venomous of all other. It breaketh stones, blasteth all plants with his breath, it burneth everything it goeth over. No herb can grow near the place of his abode. It is poison to poison, and triteth away all other serpents, only with a hissing. If a man touch it, though with a long pole, it kills him, and if it see a man afar off, it destroys him with its looks. It is not above 1 foot in length, of colour between black and yellow, having very red eyes, a sharp head, and a white spot hereon like a crown. It goeth not winding like other serpents, but upright on his breast. One of these most venomous serpents in former time lurked about the meads near Saffron Walden in Essex, who by his very fight killed so many as the town became almost depopulated, when a valorous knight, making him a coat of crystal glass, boldly went to assail this cockatrice. But her venomous nature, not able to endure the purity of that fine metal, she suddenly died, in memory whereof his sword was hung up in Walden church, the effigies of the cockatrice set up in brass, and a table hanged close by, whereon was continued all the story of the adventure. But in these late times of rebellion, it being taken for a monument of superstition, was by the lawless soldiers broken in pieces, to show they were also of a venomous nature, as well as the cockatrices. We read that in the reign of King Edward III, anno 1354, near Chipping Norton in Oxfordshire, was found a serpent having 2 heads and 2 faces like women. One face attired of the new fashion of women's attire, the other face like the old attire, and had wings like a bat. Therefore, serpents in this kingdom are no new thing, and those far more monstrous and prodigious than this, though this be one of the greatest that we have heard of in this latter age. Nor is there any countries in the whole world exempted from them, saving only Crete, or Candian island of Greece, for which now there is so much stir betwixt the Christians and Turks, and the country of Ireland, which 2 places do neither breed any venomous worms nor hurtful creatures, nor will any live there if they be brought thither from foreign countries. And to this purpose I shall tell you a story, and so draw towards a conclusion. A certain countryman coming up to London, a friend of his showed him all the rarities of the city. Amongst others was Westminster Hall, which his friend told him was sailed with Irish wood, the nature of which is such as it would endure no venomous creature nigh it. Ah, said the countryman, if the seats and bars were made of that wood, the lawyers must find some other place to plead in. And now, for a corollary on the whole, I shall insert some verse made by an excellent poet upon a serpent found near Milan, in Italy. The poisonous serpent then himself extending, his speckled breast and flamy mane all bending, above his mane his ugly odious tail, and back with fearful folds does wriggling trail, his goggling eyes flashing forth blood and fire, his hissing mouth sharp tongue does stench expire, with spacious windings rolling on the sand, he killeth all that cometh near at hand. Postscript. Since I am informed by the neighbours thereabout that they intend to keep a constant watch upon it, till such time as they hope to kill it. That's all for today. If you want to find out more about this story or any others, have a look at our website, find out more information about our special collections.